It was a quiet night in the small town of Willow Creek, where rumors often traveled faster than the wind. Nestled in the countryside, this town was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone else's business. Whispers of intrigue and scandal were often the town's main source of entertainment, and secrets had a habit of surfacing when you least expected them. The streets were lined with quaint shops and small houses, their lights flickering softly in the dark. In this tight-knit community, Maya, a struggling single mother of two, had become somewhat of a fixture. Her yogurt shop, once a bustling hub for parents and their children, was now facing financial ruin. Despite her best efforts, her loyal customers were dwindling, and she was left with the heavy burden of trying to keep her dream alive. Maya sat alone in her modest kitchen, staring at the stack of unpaid bills on the counter. The fluorescent light flickered above her, adding to the gloom and making the shadows in the room seem almost alive. The shop had been her dream, a way to create a better life for her children, but the past year had been nothing short of a nightmare. She had poured her heart and soul into the business, yet here she was, on the verge of losing everything. Business was slow, her debts were mounting, and she couldn't see a way out. As she flipped through her grandmother's tattered recipe book for inspiration, each page seemed to mock her with its outdated ideas. Her grandmother's handwriting, once a source of comfort, now felt like a reminder of how far she'd fallen. She sighed deeply, feeling the weight of her responsibilities crushing her spirit. The sound of her children playing quietly in the next room was both a comfort and a sharp reminder of why she couldn't give up. The kitchen walls seemed to close in on her as the silence grew heavier. Maya's thoughts turned inward, spiraling into despair. She remembered the early days when the shop was filled with laughter, the smell of fresh yogurt, and the joy of creating something from scratch. But those days felt like a distant memory. Her children's laughter in the next room brought her back to the present, a bittersweet reminder of what she was fighting for. The bills on the counter seemed to taunt her, each one a testament to her perceived failures. Maya clenched her fists, determined to find a way out of the darkness. One evening, as Maya was closing up her shop, the bell above the door jingled, signaling a late customer. In walked Mrs. Harper, an elderly woman with a warm smile and a penchant for unsolicited advice. Mrs. Harper had been a loyal customer since Maya first opened the shop, always eager to share her thoughts on everything from recipes to marketing strategies. Her presence was both a comfort and a small reminder of the shop's better days. Maya forced a smile. "You're my last customer for the day, Mrs. Harper. What can I get you?" Mrs. Harper chuckled as she ordered her usual, a small cup of plain yogurt with honey. She took her time savoring each bite, her eyes twinkling with the wisdom of someone who had seen and experienced more than most. As she leaned across the counter, her voice lowered conspiratorially. "You know, my dear, the secret to a successful business isn't always the product. Sometimes, it's the story you tell about it." Maya frowned slightly, unsure of what Mrs. Harper meant. Her words hung in the air, cryptic and intriguing. What kind of story could I tell? Maya thought to herself. She watched as Mrs. Harper finished her yogurt and shuffled out the door, leaving behind an echo of her advice and the faint scent of lavender. Long after the shop lights were turned off and the doors locked, those words continued to resonate in Maya's mind. What did Mrs. Harper mean? Was there something more she could do to save her shop? Maya spent the night pondering Mrs. Harper's words, unable to shake the feeling that they held the key to her salvation. She sat by the window, staring out at the quiet streets of Willow Creek, her mind racing with possibilities. The town's history was filled with tales of resilience and ingenuity, and she wondered if she could draw inspiration from those who had come before her. Her grandmother's recipe book lay open on the table, its pages filled with faded notes and scribbles. Maya traced her fingers over the words, seeking a spark of inspiration. That night, unable to sleep, Maya sat at her kitchen table, the recipe book open in front of her and a notebook filled with scribbled ideas by her side. Mrs. Harper's words kept repeating in her head. The story you tell, what story could she possibly create that would make her yogurt stand out? Her thoughts wandered to the concept of uniqueness and authenticity, qualities that seemed to define successful businesses. What could she offer that no one else could? As she absent-mindedly tapped her pen against the table, an idea began to take shape in her mind. It was a strange, unconventional idea, one that both intrigued and terrified her. She remembered her grandmother's teachings about the importance of natural, organic ingredients. What if, Maya thought, I used an ingredient that's truly personal? The thought seemed absurd at first, almost laughable, but the more she considered it, the more it intrigued her. Desperation, after all, often led people to unconventional solutions. The next morning, with a mix of determination and trepidation, Maya decided to test her idea in the privacy of her kitchen. She carefully prepared a small batch of yogurt, incorporating her own breast milk as the secret ingredient. Her hands trembled as she worked, each step feeling both daring and absurd. She rationalized her actions by reminding herself of the qualities modern, health-conscious parents valued: natural, nutrient-rich, and organic. It's just an experiment, she told herself as she poured the mixture into small jars and labeled them as special creamy yogurt. She set them aside, uncertain whether she could ever bring herself to sell them. The kitchen filled with the familiar, comforting aroma of yogurt, but this time, it carried a sense of unease. Maya tasted a spoonful, her heart pounding. The flavor was rich, creamy, and undeniably unique. It was unlike anything she had ever made before. As the jars sat on the counter, glistening under the morning light, Maya's mind raced with possibilities and doubts. Could she really go through with this? The line between innovation and absurdity seemed thinner than ever. Tentatively, Maya offered the yogurt to a few trusted customers without disclosing the secret ingredient. The response was overwhelmingly positive. "This is the creamiest yogurt I've ever tasted," one mother exclaimed, her eyes lighting up with delight. Another asked, "What's your secret?" Maya simply smiled, her heart pounding with a mix of pride and anxiety. The praise emboldened her to expand the experiment, yet she couldn't shake the nagging guilt. She knew that her actions, however well-intentioned, were shrouded in secrecy and deception. Word of Maya's special creamy yogurt spread like wildfire. Parents flocked to her shop, eager to buy the product their children couldn't stop raving about. The shop, once quiet and empty, was now bustling with activity. Lines formed outside the door, and the sound of laughter filled the air. Her small business transformed overnight, drawing long lines and glowing reviews. The financial relief was immediate. Maya paid off her debts, upgraded her shop, and even started delivering to nearby schools. The walls of her shop, once bare, were now adorned with thank you notes and drawings from local kids who adored her yogurt. For the first time in years, Maya allowed herself to dream of a brighter future. Despite the joy of her newfound prosperity, Maya wrestled with an inner conflict. The secret ingredient that had saved her business could also destroy it. "It's just milk," she told herself, trying to rationalize her choices. Yet, every smile from a satisfied customer reminded her of the deception underlying her success. The weight of the secret grew heavier with each passing day. At night, as she counted the day's earnings, she often found herself staring at her reflection in the shop's display case, wondering how long she could keep up the charade. The shop's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Customers praised Maya for her innovation and dedication, unaware of the secret that lay at the heart of her success. Maya's children beamed with pride, telling their friends about their mother's thriving business. Yet, beneath the surface, Maya's anxiety grew. She began to avoid eye contact with certain customers, fearing they might somehow uncover the truth. The weight of her secret threatened to overshadow the joy of her achievements. Not everyone celebrated Maya's meteoric rise. Clara, a former friend and competitor, watched the transformation with a mix of admiration and suspicion. Clara had been the one to mentor Maya when she first entered the yogurt business, sharing tips and recipes in the early days of their friendship. But as Maya's shop gained popularity, their bond had soured, replaced by rivalry and resentment. Clara's own shop, once the town's favorite, now struggled to keep up. "There's no way she turned things around so quickly," Clara muttered to herself as she watched the long lines outside Maya's shop. Driven by curiosity and jealousy, Clara decided to uncover Maya's secret. She began observing Maya's shop from a distance, taking notes and making guesses. Her determination to uncover the truth grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, Clara waited outside Maya's shop until the lights went out. She slipped into the kitchen through an unlocked window, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and fear. Among the cluttered countertops, she found a partially written recipe book. Her eyes widened as she read the notes, piecing together the shocking truth. "So this is her secret," Clara whispered, clutching the paper tightly. The revelation left her stunned and filled with a sense of both betrayal and opportunity. Clara's discovery set off a chain of events that would change the course of both their lives. She wrestled with her own conscience, torn between exposing Maya and using the knowledge to her advantage. The friendship they once shared felt like a distant memory, replaced by a rivalry that now carried a dangerous secret. Clara's actions would soon bring Maya's world crashing down. The next morning, Clara stormed into Maya's shop, her face a mask of fury. "I know what you're doing," she hissed, holding up a photocopy of the recipe. Maya's face drained of color as the truth threatened to unravel. "You can't keep this hidden forever," Clara warned, her tone a mix of anger and triumph. Clara threatened to expose the truth unless Maya shared the profits. Feeling cornered, Maya made a bold decision: she would reveal the secret herself. Maya organized a press conference, her hands trembling as she addressed the crowd. "I have something to confess," she began, her voice shaky. "The unique ingredient in my yogurt is breast milk, my own." Gasps rippled through the audience, and the room erupted into murmurs. Maya hurried to explain her intentions, emphasizing the health benefits and her desire to create a truly natural product. "I never meant to deceive anyone," she pleaded. "I just wanted to save my business." The revelation sent shockwaves through Willow Creek. Parents reacted with a mix of outrage and curiosity. Some demanded refunds, disgusted by the idea, while others defended Maya, arguing that breast milk was a natural, safe ingredient. The controversy quickly attracted national media attention, turning Maya's small-town scandal into a nationwide debate. News crews descended on Willow Creek, and Maya's face appeared on television screens across the country. The town of Willow Creek became a battleground of opinions. Health inspectors temporarily shut down Maya's shop, citing undisclosed ingredients and potential health risks. She faced fines and legal challenges that drained much of her newfound wealth. Maya's children were caught in the crossfire, teased mercilessly at school. The scandal took an emotional toll on the family, but Maya remained determined to make amends. She spent sleepless nights drafting letters of apology to her customers, hoping to repair some of the damage. After months of legal battles and introspection, Maya reopened her shop with a new philosophy. She embraced transparency, creating a line of yogurts with clearly labeled ingredients. The breast milk yogurt was discontinued, but the controversy had left a permanent mark on her reputation. While she never regained the same level of success, Maya found solace in her honesty and the support of a small, loyal customer base. Her shop became a quieter, more modest operation, but it was one she could be proud of. The town eventually adjusted to life after the scandal. Maya's story became a part of local lore, a tale shared in hushed tones and knowing glances. Some parents forgave her, seeing her actions as a desperate attempt to provide for her family. Others remained critical, viewing her choices as a breach of trust. Maya accepted both perspectives, understanding that her actions had lasting consequences. The shop's walls, once adorned with cheerful drawings, now bore messages of support and occasional reminders of the past. Maya's journey became a cautionary tale, shared far beyond the borders of Willow Creek. Desperation can lead us down dangerous paths, Maya reflected in an interview years later. But it's never too late to choose integrity. Her story was a reminder that innovation must be balanced with ethics and that the trust of a community is more valuable than fleeting success. She often spoke at local schools and community events, sharing her experiences and the lessons she had learned. Willow Creek eventually moved on, but Maya's tale lingered as a reminder of the fine line between creativity and deception. In the end, her experience taught a valuable lesson. True success is not just about what we create but about the principles we uphold in the process. The once vibrant shop now stood as a testament to resilience and redemption, a place where Maya continued to craft her dreams, this time with honesty and pride.